myself, like I'm a teacher from Sri Lanka. So I started my teaching career in 2011. Then after that, I worked in Sri Lanka for like almost 5 years from that. Then I moved to Qatar to learn about like Middle East education system. Then I moved to like Dubai and them. Then after that, I have moved like almost around like 17 countries to learn the education system. Then to see the European style. So when I move around the world, so they were talking about high about these systems. So I just want to know what's actually the hidden secret behind it. That's why I moved to Finland in 2022.
So, seventh grade. Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah, you can ask.
What makes the Finnish education system one of the best in the world?
Okay, so you're asking why it's made one of the best. The reason is one thing is equity. Like usually they have equal opportunities for each and every student, and they have free education system all around all around the country. So education system is free, and they provide meals, and they are providing like special support, like special education teachers are available in any city. So for an example, for teachers in Asian context, so teachers are like only is like equipped with the knowledge, but like here they have been given the pedagogy means how we teach, art of teaching. So they are like full equipped with art of teaching. So that's one thing. Can I summarize your question in like this way? Okay, so one thing is main thing they have been like best in the world is they focus on equity. Equity means they try to give everyone equal opportunities. That's the first thing. Second thing is they are more developed on holistic development. Holistic development means they only not only think about the knowledge, they only think about the physical and mental and everything. So that development also they have considered. Then second thing, third thing is this is very important. They do personalized learning. Is very hard for like in Asian country, because like if we take like in Asia, we have 50 students per teacher, like per classroom. But here they have make sure that number of students are like 15, so the teacher can make the like personalized plan for a child. So that's the main important thing. I think this is why it's easy in this part of the world, is because they have less population. But I think it will be a very difficult task like in countries like India and in Sri Lanka. But we can do certain things. Personalized education, another one. Highly qualified teachers, they make sure that the teaching is one of the top professions. Now for an example, if you take like Sri Lanka and India, they are thinking about okay, doctors and engineers, they are the top profession. But here they consider teachers also a top profession, and they give priority for them. Now you might be thinking why they were able to do this, but like there are things we have the problems, like they have rich economy. For like India and Sri Lanka, we can't put huge amount of money for like education, so they have rich economy, but they have less population as well. And making teaching is a like reputed job in the society. But this third one we can do it. Obviously, like in any country, like in any Asian country, this is one thing we can develop on. So this might be a problem, this might be a problem, but if you make a teaching as a reputed job in the society, the top cream in the society will start joining this profession. That makes the profession more good. Direct. Now you might have a doubt. The Gayatri will have a doubt. Is India is that bad? It's not that bad, right? Because the
Yes,
reason is,
yes.
now for an example, if you take your teacher Hari, it's not his duty to make like connect the people all around the world and have these sessions. So actually the one thing is Asian teachers have is they go beyond that level. Like usually they have a scope of the classroom, that they don't stay only in the classroom. They are just going beyond that level. So that's that thing we don't see in any other country. If their job is this much, they stick to that level. But like this when they go beyond, they won't get any payment for that. There's no money at all, but like they do it like because they value their student as their own children. That's one thing advantage is there. Second thing is if we take the fastest man on India and the fastest man on earth, I think Indian fastest man, he might be running around for like 100 meters within 10 seconds. But if you take the fastest man on earth, it's like 9.6. So that means it's just only 0.4 second difference. It's not a big gap. But that gap makes the big thing, but like it's not a big gap. So India can go there. For one option, I'll tell you like in 2001, There's a ranking called PISA system. They are the one who rank this education system and everything. Finland was number one. Japan was number two. India has been in this PISA education system, and India was ranked one before the last. Okay, but there's a thing, there's a catch. Now, even though India ranked one before last, this PISA system says that if these children join the economy, they will develop the economy. Now, the kids who were in 2001, now they should be 40 years old. That means those best kids, 40 years old. That means they are the one who take the decisions of the countries. Now, if you take the economy today, Finland and Japan, they have problems in economy, but Indian economy is the fastest growing economy in the world. So it doesn't mean that you are that bad. So that means you are like performing really well, but small thing that 0.4 seconds gap is there. So we can catch it. India is not that bad, but like it's a small gap, but we have to find. I think you got the answer, Gayatri.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer. And I had another question is there. Gayatri, can you ask your another question?
Yes, sir. What lessons can other countries learn from Finland's focus on student well-being and holistic development?
Okay, what are the things we can learn, other countries can learn? Okay, I think I have found the answer for that one also. Okay, now it says one thing is in if you take like Finland, it prioritizes student well-being by reducing stress. One thing we are doing is like we are pressurizing on students, like putting a huge stress on it, and they make sure that if you remove the stress, obviously kids will love for learning. Now if like your teachers can do these type of activities in classroom, teaching about the world and everything, you will like everyone will love to like come for the class and learn things. But the thing is at the end of the day there's like a high stress exam. As far as now, like Asia is like most competitive examination, so therefore this balance schedule is really hard to achieve. But like I think it's one of the thing that we can't do, but one thing we can do, India and both Sri Lanka, everything we can get things right is we can do something like this. Okay, now the problem is, do we have stress? Yes. The reason is we have exams. Why we make exams so competitive? Because the reason is we don't have enough resources. For an example, in India or Sri Lanka, we can't give graduation for everyone. So we have problem because we don't have money. So if we have money, there's no problem. If we have enough universities, no problem at all. But what we can do is we can minimize the stress on this examination. Now most of the examination questions lie based on theory. You have to memorize this, you have to put it there. But what if we can make this examination like a little bit challenging one? For an example, let's take if you want to become an engineer. So let's take students who are learning in engineering. We can give them a task. Okay, you have to design a bridge and you have to build it using popsicles. And that bridge should be capable of holding 20 kilogram of weight. Who can do it? Then they will pass the exam. So they will the exam, the test is you keep a 20 kilogram weight on top of it. It should not collapse. So that make kids more like loving for learning, and although we are checking the concept, but here we ask, tell me all the D block elements in the periodic table. You don't need to remember it. It's just in a book. You can take a paper and you can search in Google or anything. So if we can remove those things, we can do it. That's the thing I think we can learn from Finnish education system, like the whole world.
Yeah, thank you so much for your comprehensive analysis. As
Yeah. There's another thing like now for an example, like I have seen like if you go take like New Zealand, we have seen like some of the highly educated. There are like in India and Sri Lanka, there are people get highly educated and they go to New Zealand. Sometimes they have degree in agriculture and all these things, but they get the job in farming in New Zealand. Now the problem is, now we always think the other side of the river, the like the grass is more greenery. But after moving all this world, we have realized that actually we are living in a heaven. You are already in a heaven. India is a heaven, but we make it to hell by ourselves. Because like there might be like pollution in cities, but if you go like rural India, I have visited India few times. If you go for rural India, it's very beautiful. Only thing is why you do farming in New Zealand? Why can't we do farming in our place? So that's one thing we have to learn, that we are already living in a heaven, but we try to convert into a hell. That's the problem.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you because green pastures, a faraway land is always attractive for our Indians. That's why they look for the green pastures of the other countries rather than finding the same enjoyment in the country. That's a problem
Yeah.
with Indians.
Yeah, that's, I think it's this problem with like all the Asians, like before coming here, so I had the same idea whether I get the chance, but like when I after coming here, I realized that there's no difference.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much.
My name is Nitvika. I am an 8th grader from GBHS School, Alvaram. Here, I would like to ask you a question, sir. Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
How does Finland ensure equal access to quality education for all students?
Okay, so let's go for that one. How they act, like give quality education, right? Now, to like ensure quality education for all the things, one thing we can provide. I don't know about like India, but as far as I know, in Asia had free education. So they have free education all the levels, but they minimize the like development of the private education. So that's one thing. And they give meals also, including meals, and they give transportation if you are living like a little bit far away, and all the educational materials are provided by the school. And they give huge support for students with special needs. For an example, like if you have like kids are like different, like if just like five fingers in your hand, even those are fingers, they are different from each other. So each and everyone, our learning style and everything is different. So therefore, they, by giving these things, they make education like gives the equal access for education for like all students as well as parents. Now the problem is, can India do these things? But they can do it in Indian way. For an for an example, now free education for all levels, it might be a problem. But the thing is, the problem is like why kids goes to this like all these like Ambani schools and everything, because they think it's high quality education. The government might have problem with this stuff, but what you can do is we can have like good teachers. Like if you take Hari sir, okay. Now let's take we have a, but you have only one for the work India. But what we can do is using Zoom technology, we can stream the best teachers all around the country. That's one thing we can do, including meals. Yes, there's issue, but like we can get like a community support. In India, I know like most of the people like empathy is high, really high in Asia. For an example, if you take parents, they try to do their best for children, so you can like introduce community kitchen or something for schools and transportation and materials. But if you get like localize, if you take like schools in Asia, you have like school everywhere in the village. If, at least per village there will be a school. So if you can get these best facilities linked to those schools, then I think it won't be a problem for countries like this. So this is how Finland ensure equal access. I think the same thing we can practice in Asia also.
Yes, thank you so much. Nitvika, can you ask your other
Thank you
question?
very much.
Nitvika, can you ask your other question?
Yes, sir. What is the role of teachers in the Finnish education system and how are they trained?
Right. It's a good question. Now, one thing is, not like like in Asia, actually we do have a proper like highly professional for teaching, but only in terms of respect. We know that in Asian context we respect teachers to so much. But the thing is, if you take their economic level is really like very low. Like if you take, I think in Sri Lanka, the lowest paid government job is like teaching, one of the lowest paid government jobs. So therefore it's that's why it's deteriorating. So what we have to do is, we are in Finland, the teaching job is a highest respected as well as highly paid. So they supposed to have a master degree. That means other than the knowledge from the basic first degree, we get the knowledge. For an example, if someone is teaching science, first degree gives the science. The second degree is about how to teach science. So that means we have to give master degree. That means every teacher should have to know what is science and how to teach it. So both has to be there. But like in most of the time, our problem in Asia is like we don't have this second part. Second thing is the teachers undergo rigorous training. Becoming a teacher is not easy in Finland. So you have to go like plenty of training and including pedagogical. Pedagogical means like how to teach different art. For an example, different students grab the knowledge in different ways. So teacher has to use different techniques. If it doesn't, first technique doesn't work, he or she has to go with the second technique. So I have experienced that one. So the teachers here, like they are super talented. They know different approach of students. For like it's actually not a big thing. For an example, now one of the problem like we have in like Asian is how to get attention of children. So I have seen these teachers like they have taken the attention by the first time. So I was like wondering how they get it. This is the thing. Now for an example, when you walk into the first time in the classroom, now there are 50 students. It's hard to remember. Like for here it's like 15, but for teachers like us, 50 students are there. It's really hard to remember their names from the first day onward. What the teacher does is she was just asking students to like introduce the name like themselves, and now let's take there are 6 tables. Now let's take here you have Nitvika is here, then Gayatri is here, then you have there's another Ravi is here. So what the teacher slowly while the key students are introducing themselves, she write their location and the name. She just make like a chart. Then when she asks questions from the while getting there, now let's take she want to get the attention. Now let's assume this Ravi is like behaving a little bit badly. So she doesn't tell pointing at Ravi. She just asks a question by using the name Ravi. It's a small thing. But like when a child realizes that this teacher on the first day, first 5 minutes, she or he can remember my name, it makes a huge confidence on the child. So those type of small things, like it's not big. As far as I say, faster man on India, faster man on the world, it's a small gap. But that small gap has few small techniques. Our teachers have all the techniques, but only those few, like it's like 1% is missing. So to find that 1%, I am here. So that's what we are doing. So that's the pedagogical study. That's the part we have to focus on. We have to find those secret ingredients. And teachers have significant autonomy. That's another thing. They have their ownership. For an example, I don't think Harish sir can do the same thing in a school setup, like in the classroom or anything. There might be problems. They have like supervisors coming, always checking. Did you fill this report? I think that's the fun in the Sri Lanka. Like they have to do a lot of paperwork, reports. Not no, they don't have
Same
enough time
here.
to do the work.
Same here. Same here.
So they don't have any time to work. So that's the one problem. But here, more than report, they ask the result. Now, at the end, it doesn't matter how you teach. But at the end, if your kids are performing well, that's what we need rather than reports. So I think that's one thing we have to move away from in the Asian context. We have removed this reporting system and a lot of supervisors. One principle I think enough to like look after, because if you are recruit right teachers, that's the one. That's how the teachers in Finnish education system. That's how they have been trained.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
sir.
here
Thank
is
you very much.
another question.
Uh,
Kaza, can you ask your question?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. My name is Khaja Moinuddin. I am a sixth grader. Nice
okay.
to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too, son.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
How does Finland's approach to homework and standardized testing differ from other countries?
Right, that's a good question. Like, how does Finland approach homework? So one thing is, actually they have very few homework, and even the homework, for an example, they are not very hard one. For an example, I can remember when I was a small child, when my teacher teach me addition, then the teacher gives you like 30 or 40 sums to do at home. So 30 sums. So actually it doesn't matter even the child does 100 sum, it doesn't make any sense. For an example, what they do here is one thing I saw in like a school in Helsinki is called something called Guru Gafe. It's like actually they use the word from India, the word guru. So Guru Gafe means after you learn the concept, next day you are the teacher. You have to teach others how to do the addition. If you can teach someone, that means you know it. That's the best thing. So that's the best way of make sure that your child knows it. So one thing is, after you learn, you have to teach it. If you can teach it, no need homework. So that means you got how to do the addition. That's the best way. If you also like, if you also want to become like well in your studies, after you learn, come home or like find your friends who's not good at studies, start teaching him. Teaching is the best way of learning. Then they give extracurricular activities and relaxation. That's the second thing. So they perform on, like for an example, sometimes they go to school, they don't have like, after this education they have like cooking classes, other stuff. They always visit to these nearby places. If there's a fire brigade nearby, you can go there and see how they work. If you have close by hospital, that's one thing we are missing. We always try to do everything inside a classroom. Like if you take in India, I know like many, I think here like it's very few. Like if you India, like if you take, like there are like mechanic shops, different places around the school. I think the school can cooperate with them and make a network. Okay, we bring our kids to a mechanic shop, teach them how to change the wheel of a car. So that, I think Indian community, I think in Asian community, they don't like, even they won't ask for like payments. They just do it free because like everyone like to contribute to the schools. And the second thing is continuous assessment, son. It's like they don't have a final test like after 1 month or one term. No. So they have continuous assessment. When you do something, the teacher will give you marks and there will be a personalized feedback. You will get a feedback. So based on this one, actually rather than a test, you will be test every day. For an example, after you did the addition lesson, when you teach using this system to other one, teacher will look at it whether your teaching is good. If you have something improved, like teacher might say you missed this point while you're teaching your friend, but from that you can develop rather than having like this competitive test. Like I don't think, for an example, grade 1 2 3, like if you have to select students in for universities in A levels, like after third, like 8, when you are 16 or 18 years, if you want to have a test, when you have the test at that age, that's fine. Why do you need like a test at grade 6? Because reason is, sixth grade you don't need a test, like very hard test. You can have a test but like very fun, very entertainment, and very like something like assignment. I think that's the best way we can do in Finland and standardized testing.
Thank you so much, Nuwan, for giving us a great, I think, many insights into the Finnish education system. So, if you stop sharing so that I can ask one or two
Yeah.
questions before we
Yeah.
wrap up the session.
Okay. Just give me. I Right.
Okay, while explaining to us about the Finnish education system, and you have used one term that personalized teaching. Personalized teaching is in fact possible when the number of students in the classroom is limited. In the Indian context, especially in my school context, we have more than 50, 60 students, sometimes even 70 students. And it's very hard for any teacher to focus on every student needs and their abilities to perform, especially in, if I am a mathematics teacher, my mathematics subject. But even though I have these shortcomings, like number of students, 50, sometimes minimum classroom student and teacher ratio is nearly 50 teachers, 50 students every class. Most of the students that come to the public sector, public schools in India, in my region, and most of the students, 50 students, 50% of students, they simply come to the sixth grade without the basic knowledge in English. Some students are really horrible, and I have to teach them alphabet right from the scratch, even in sixth grade, where they are supposed to learn the lessons using the textbook. So those are the harsh realities in the classroom. But some teachers, they simply teach the lessons without considering their abilities into account. And these students, they falter at the time of standard test when they are promoted to the grade 10. Definitely they fail to deliver well. But in my case, I personally regroup the students and I give them the enough feedback and support to those students who are struggling hard to learn the alphabet and the words and the phrases. It's my personal interest, but it is not common for all the teachers to do it. You have used personalized teaching means what is the classroom ratio in Finland? Is it possible for them to concentrate all the students, I mean, fulfilling all their needs within the stipulated 40 minutes time? And or is there any other way that where they can focus on all the students? Because you have used already, they have so much of autonomy, they have so much of freedom to do well. So what you have observed when it comes to the issue that I have brought to your kind notice?
So one thing is like in Asia we have this idea like we have to keep the kids inside our classroom. For an example, now if you have 50 students, we know that 10 of them like performing well. So if you give like a sum or something, they might do it within 1 minute. Then that's makes be after they finish their work, they don't have anything to do. They just start chatting. Then the principal comes and says that your class is noisy. To avoid that, you keep that's what the make the teacher pressurize to keep move forward, because then we have to keep on teaching to make sure that that 10 occupied. The best thing in Finland is a child staying in the playground without the break time is not something new. So what will happen if those 10 finish their work? Let them go and play. There'll be a teacher in the ground, and he or she will look after their playing. So you let those that like 10 go away. Then you will have a 20. Then there'll be another 20. They'll be average students, but they will grab it when you teach them second time. So within like now 10 minutes, now they might get it 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, that 20 is also done. Let them also go when they finish. Then you are left up with 20 kids or might be 10 kids who are really weak. Then you have to focus on them. So actually they make sure that everyone will learn. After that only they will move to the next part. But what we do is we have to teach them and we have to make sure that they will stay quiet. Kids will not stay quiet. Kids chatting and everything is normal. But in Asian context, actually we actually it comes with, I think, it's colonization. Because colonization, they want someone who follow the orders. So they actually, it's like schools are like military, like army training or something in Asia and Sri Lanka. So that's the problem. Like then if you send them to grounds, then you left out with weak kids. Then after you finish that session, then you can bring them back and you can start the next. That's the thing, I think, because that's what I see like the difference between these countries and Asia. Because then when you send them, if you finish your work, you can play. It doesn't matter whether you finish your work within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If you have finished your target, I think if we can change that culture inside schools, that's the best thing. I think in India, every school has a ground, some playground, and there'll be a teacher who will the physical. I think there's a P unit or something in school. Their target is to make sure that those intelligent kids occupied. That's their target. They have to stay all the time in grounds. Is something they will annoyed with. But the thing is, they might come up with activities. Who will finish, teacher can send them, and then they will have activities ready for them to do some physical. Then you will have problem with this obesity and everything, because we know like when the person become intelligent in Asia, he'll become obey because he will get like job which is in office room and everything. So but like if you make sure occupied with physical activities also, I think that problem will also be a like solution for it.
Thank you so much. And here is my last question. In your observation, you have been staying there for a few years. Which thing that you like so much, you want to take away from this to implement in Sri Lanka? Which one you like so much, especially in education point of view?
Actually, I like the freedom of an education. That means how free the kids like and they are not like confined with the classroom. So actually, here classrooms are there, and they are like yeah, you can, but like they are soundproof. Even you, if the kids are like shouting and running here and there in the corridor, it doesn't like affect the classroom. Plus, and kids have free space. They might be corridors. They can study anywhere. Sometimes the teacher give the exercise, they can go outside the class if they don't like do it inside, but they have to do the task, and it's a systematic one. So we don't have that part is missing. Now in like I know that India like currency wise is digitized, like you can like even make a payment now, even you can buy something on the street using the I think QR code. But like we don't have the same system for children. Like if we have create a system for children, if the child has done addition, what is his performance, And if you are the new teacher, if you can go through it, and if you know the like child with before in hand, and even you can connect parents to it, I think that's the best thing. Then we will have a systematic network that will make the teachers also easy if we create like digital platform. So that's one thing I want to do. Like I want to bring a digitalized platform for children. Each children will they have their performance evaluated, joining parents and all the teachers, and freedom. I want to bring like a setup where they are so free for education, where you can run here and there and study.
Thank you so much, Nawan. And before we wind up the session, may I request you to give a message to my teachers and the students, keeping the Finland education system in mind. So, what
Uh,
kind of approach the teachers here need to adopt in order to tailor the needs of the students?
okay, one thing I want to give is like when I was visiting Dubai, I found this like we know that virtual VR technology. I think VR technologies you can find in Europe countries. So when I see in Asia, I have seen some government and like education institute bringing those things, whatever you see in VR technology to like Asia and everything. But when I see why they do VR technology here, because sometimes they want to experience the tiger and they want to experience the animals, rainforest and everything here because they don't have it. But what we have is in India and Sri Lanka, we are living around the rainforest and Bengal tigers are all over India, but we use VR technology to see them. So that's one thing. We have plenty of resources. You don't need like child to see a like Bengal tiger through a video or something. You can go and show them by like. So what's one thing is we should not copy everything what we see from foreign country because we have a lot of things, and we have to identify we are not that bad. So that's another thing we are doing it like we are putting. Actually, I was also we were putting ourselves so down. We are not that bad. Like Hussein Bolt and fastest man on India is like 0.4 second gap. It's not huge. It's like small techniques we have developed. So we are good, but like we have to learn. Another thing is so that's one thing. So one thing we have to know that we are good, but we have certain and we are some things we are better. Like I haven't seen like teachers like Sri Lanka or India working for their like children like this. Even holidays, it doesn't matter for them here like it's very rare to see someone like in holidays working for children. And if I have seen like some teachers they are using their own salary money. I think you are using now when you're doing this one is your own electricity and everything. I haven't seen those type of things. So we have something, some parts we are like very ahead than the others in empathy wise and everything. But like some small things are missing. So we will learn it and we will bring it. And then I think it's we are going to be like one of the best. So no, there will be one day like India and Sri Lanka and everyone will be doing really well in
So,
education.
yeah, let's hope that some immediate reforms need to be promulgated in order to make Indian education system and the Sri Lankan education system on par Finland education system. Let's hope that. And